Hello guys, my name is Arnold from iQAkademie and welcome to our second lesson in functions. In this video I'm going to introduce the function notation and we'll also work on some examples with f of x. Simply put, f of x is shorthand for function. F of x is a set of operations that we perform on the input to get an output. Let's consider f of x is equal to 2x. The operation that we perform on the input is to multiply the input by x. Here our x is representing the input, so we are saying 2 multiplied by the input. So this function doubles every term that is in the domain. But how does it do it? We take every term in the domain and we substitute it for x in the f of x operations. Let's perform some transformations from domain to range so we can appreciate the effect of f of x on the domain terms. Here I have got a green box which is carrying the inputs to the function, and every term is being mapped to corresponding outputs in the blue box. But how is it happening? The x in f of x is representing an input to the function. So to transform from domain to range of the function, we have to substitute an input value for x. So here we have -1 and we want to transform it to an output value. To do that, instead of saying f of x is equal to 2 times x, we say f of 1 is equal to 2 times -1 to give us -2. The same with f of 0 is equal to 2 times 0 to give us 0. So we are substituting the input value where there was x, we now put the input value. The letter f is the commonly used letter in function notation, but we can use any other letter instead of f. For example, instead of saying f of x, we can say g of x or t of x and so forth. Let's look at g of x is equal to 2x minus 4. Determine the value of g of 3. Here our input value is 3. So g of 3 is equal to 2 times 3 minus 4. We are now applying that rule of saying we substitute our input value for 3 to give us the output value. So g of 3 is 2 times 3 minus 4. This is pretty much what we need to understand about the function notation. Let's work on the freestyle question so that we can master this concept of function notation. Given a function f of x is equal to 1 minus 3, evaluate 2f of x. 2f of x is pretty much 2 times f of x. So here we multiply our f of x that we are given by 2 and we say 2 multiplied by 1 we get 2. 2 multiplied by minus 3x we get minus 6x. Let's look at the second question, f of 2x. This one is a little bit tricky, but it's quite straightforward once you get the basics. We take 2x to be our input value and we substitute 2x wherever we had x in our f of x. So instead of saying f of x is equal to 1 minus 3x, we now say f of 2x is equal to 1 minus 3 times 2x, which we have written here 1 minus 3 times 2x to give us 1 minus 6x. I have brought a diagrammatic representation here so that you can clearly see what is happening. Our input is 2x and we are substituting 2x for x in the function to get 1 minus 3 times 2x, which is 1 minus 6x. Let's look at another a bit more complicated problem, but once you get the basics you won't have any problem with this one. We want to find f of x plus 3. Here we take our input to be x plus 3, so we substitute x plus 3 for x throughout our function. So where we had f of x is equal to 1 minus 3x, we now say f of x plus 3 is equal to 1 minus 3 times x plus 3. This gives us 1 minus 3 times x, which gives us minus 3x, and minus 3x times 3, we get minus 9. So overall our answer becomes minus 3x minus x. I have also included a diagrammatic representation which is showing that our input or the value from the domain is x plus 3. So we take x plus 3 and put it wherever x was appearing in our original function. Ladies and gentlemen, see you in the next practice session. Feel free to subscribe to iQAkademie for more interesting videos. Thank you very much.